Hi, welcome to How We Met. I'm Sheryl Strich, and every month I get to interview couples who tell their story about how they met. Today's our special Valentine's Day episode, and we have two lovely couples, so let's get started. We have today Kevin and Kelly Lacey. Upon moving into the village, Kevin and Kelly immediately headed to the Community Fitness Center. You'll be able to see them here every day on the stair machine, elliptical, and recumbent bicycles, as well as on the weight training machines. They also explored pickleball, the Players Club, porcelain artists, and the Foodies Club before they found their true passion, lawn bowling. They both spend a couple hours a day on the lawn bowling greens. They're members of the Laguna Woods Lawn Bowling Club team that travels to compete against other clubs in Southern California in what's known as the Coast League. Kevin serves as a Laguna Woods delegate to the men's section of the Bowls USA Southwest Bowls Division, the largest of 7 divisions across the United States. They've also traveled to dozens of countries over the years to learn about other cultures and explore incredible landscapes. They've also traveled extensively within the United States to visit sites designed by the architect Frank Lloyd Wright and to determine where they wanted to live when they retired. So welcome, Kevin and Kelly. Thank you so much for coming on. I've been wanting you to come on for a year, and we finally made it happen. I always start with 3 questions. The first question is, where are you from?
I'm originally from Ohio, and that is where I lived until we were married.
Okay.
I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and lived there throughout my master's degree, and then lived in Richmond, Virginia for a year before we got married.
Well, where'd you live after you got married?
Maryland.
Oh, in Maryland.
Yes, we lived there for 6 years.
Suburban Washington, D.C. We worked there for 6 years. And then
We were moved to Ohio after we got different positions.
yeah,
We were in
spent
education.
25 years in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And then moved out here to California.
Okay. All right. How long have you been a couple?
We've been a couple for 36 years,
36 years.
and we've been married
32 years.
Okay. And how long have you been in Laguna Woods?
15 months.
15 months, that's right.
Yes.
I met you when you first moved in, just after you moved in.
Yes.
All right, well, let's get started. How did you meet?
So I was a student at the University of Pittsburgh. After my freshman year, I worked at an amusement park in Pittsburgh. It's kind of the amusement park in Pittsburgh, at Kennywood Park. So I worked there at the rides, and I had a good experience that summer. And at the University of Pittsburgh, there's a student newspaper, the Pitt News, and they advertised Cedar Point. And I had heard of Cedar Point. You know, it was a big amusement park in Ohio. And they were advertised, they wanted 3,000 employees for the next summer. I thought, oh, I've had experience in an amusement park. I'll see about working at Cedar Point. So I went late March and met the people at the student union and spoke to them about opportunities for that next summer. I said, I'd really like to work in the rides. I've got experience working in the rides. And so, you know, didn't think anything of it. Time goes on, and May the 9th, I get a phone call, Cedar Point. They say, hey, we'd love you to come work with us, and we'd like you to work in food operations.
Oh.
I'm like, okay, I've worked on ride, I've got experience, but okay, food operations, still, you know, great experience, go to Ohio, live there for the summer.
Did they put you up?
Yeah, so we paid $11 a week to live in a group. It was the old Breakers Hotel, and I had 2 roommates, but no air conditioning.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bare basics. Right. But so yeah, we put it up. So they said, oh, and we want you here on the 11th. So 2 days later to be there for orientation, and so I'm like, okay, pack up the car, off to Ohio.
Was school over at that point?
And we had just finished, literally, and both of our schools were early dismissal schools, so we were late April, first week of May.
One other question. Was this a good paying job?
So, you know, this was 30 years ago, but
For the time.
For the time, it was minimum wage-ish.
All right.
for us at the start. I was able to move into a management position there and got like an extra 30 cents an hour. It was. For example, I worked 1 week. I worked almost 100 hours in the 1 week, and my paycheck was just under $400.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, but it was a good job, a good summer job for this
Oh, yeah.
college student.
So packed up the car and headed there to go to Ohio. And
it was between my freshman and sophomore year of college, and I was
What school were you going to?
Bowling Green State University.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I was trying to decide, where do I want to work this summer? And my girlfriend worked at Cedar Point last summer, and she said, I had a really great experience. I'm going to work there again this summer. You should join me. I'm like, okay, sounds fun.
Right.
Why not? And so I applied to Cedar Point, and on a Tuesday, I received a phone call saying, I have a position for you, and it's in food operations.
Right.
And I'm like, doesn't sound very fun, but okay, sure. And they said, and we want you to be here on Thursday. I'm like, okay, I better get going.
so I arrived at the park that same Thursday,
Right.
go through security, head to the food operations office, do the, here, fill out this paperwork.
Right.
So I'm in the office just filling out the paperwork.
Right.
I arrived to the office, and I see it's just the three of us, the employee, and then Kevin doing his paperwork, and I. And the gal gives me my paperwork and starts to ask me, just basic generic questions, one of which was, are you a minor? I said, what is a minor? She said, I don't know.
So they turned to me, what's a minor? And so I said, Kelly, how old are you?
And I said, 19.
You're not a minor.
I'm not a minor.
Off she does her paperwork. And next stage, it's kind of like the military. You go to the next element. Next is you go to the place where you get your clothing. So off I go to get my clothes.
And I walk in, a step behind him, and out he comes from the wardrobe from changing his clothes, and he has on these brown polyester pants and brown shirt. And I'm like, oh, geez, nice outfit. He's in all brown. And
that was the uniform?
Yeah, it was pretty. And so then she looks at my paperwork and she's like, oh, you're working in Frontierland. Here's your outfit. And it's all brown. Brown skirt, brown shirt. I'm like, great.
So that was kind of that was the end of the day.
Right.
And they said, oh, orientation tomorrow morning.
Right.
And for us, if you're on time, you're late.
Right.
So we, unbeknownst at the time, we were the first two people to orientation the next morning.
Okay.
So I was there first. Kelly comes in second.
It's just the two of us, and we're waiting for the meeting to begin.
Right.
So we kind of sit together at a similar table,
Right.
waiting for orientation, a little bit of small talk, fill out a little bit more paperwork. And then after orientation, they say, hey, okay, everyone, here's your assignments.
Right. And we were both assigned to the exact same location, the stockade. So,
Appropriately named. Right,
That's it.
we're working in a stockade all summer.
yeah.
It's a food stand.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we walked to the stockade, and
We literally, after the meeting, we walked together down to the food stand where we're going to work to meet the crew who are there, the manager.
yeah.
So were you guys the waiters, or the food hander-outers?
We were behind like the cashier and making the food and
Oh, so you made the food.
yeah.
Oh,
So
what a
picture-
lovely
yeah,
job
yeah.
all summer.
greasy.
Right, you must have smelled really wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cooking a lot of hamburgers and
The two of you were doing that?
I did more of the funnel cakes and
Oh, so you were both preparing food also?
yes. Yes. And the stockade was broken up into 3 different sections.
one had kind of the pizza,
Right.
one was the kind of burgers and fries.
The desserts, the French waffles. and,
So we walked down there together and just kind of talking, and she's asking me questions
and because I lived near Cedar Point, everybody went to Cedar Point at least once every summer. That was the place to be. And finding out he's from Pittsburgh and he had never been to Cedar Point before, I'm like, what? Who's never been to Cedar Point? Everyone's been here.
So it was, kind of just a good conversation. Talked about family a little bit on the walk down too, brothers and sisters.
So you dormed there. Did you live at home?
No, I also lived there.
Oh, okay.
So
They took
just in a
$11
different
a week
building.
out of your paycheck.
Yes.
Yes.
And I lived in an air-conditioned unit,
Oh.
so I'm sure mine was a little more expensive.
Yeah.
So you went your way, I went my way.
And it wasn't by
And-
choice. We didn't. They just said, "Here's where you're living." So
Right.
she got the nice one. and,
Right.
Yeah, I got the not so nice.
And then
So-
afterwards, the day is kind of over, and you
so,
head to your
yeah,
room, I
yeah,
head to mine.
We just kind of went on our ways that day, and then it's early in the season.
Right.
School's not out.
It's
a lot
May
of the college
11th.
kids aren't there, so there's a small group of workers. There's going to be a large group that comes in, and so I said to the manager, it was just the manager and I working in the hamburger section, and I said, "Oh, that girl over there kind of seems somebody I'd like to get to know and be interested in." He said, "Well, you better do it now before the rest of the crew shows up, because now's your opportunity." So, unbeknownst to Kelly,
I'm outside. Is it early the next morning?
This is you were in the funnel cake room and then got moved over.
Oh, okay. So it's late in the evening, towards the end of the shift, and again, there aren't a lot of people there,
Right.
and none of the customers. And the manager comes over and says, "I would like for you to move over to this section." And I'm thinking, this is strange, but you're the manager, I'll do what you say. So I head over to the hamburger area, and I'm in front with the cash register, and there's just like a ledge with where the
Your counter
food
where
is.
you put the food up, and
Right.
the people up front take it from the back of
Yeah, and you're behind there with the
at the
grill.
grill. Yeah. So we're just talking, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" And then during that conversation, you said, "I'm just here to have fun.
This is true.
Yeah.
I was just here to have
Yeah,
fun.
not looking for a boyfriend or anything." I'm like, okay. So a couple days, actually that evening, we
I was going to say.
it was that evening. I get we're done with work. Go back to my new two roommates,
Right.
and they're like, "Hey, we're going to go to this place called Louis,
Right.
and we're going to go hang out there." I'm like, "Sure, I'll go."
And I go back to mine, and all of my girlfriends are there. And they said, "Hey, we're going to go to Louis tonight. Why don't you join us?" I'm like, "Okay, sounds great."
So I'm there at Louis, and I'm talking to Trent and Ned, my two roommates, and we're kind of talking, and
And then I show up, and it's packed. I mean, like, there are a lot of people there.
Right.
But of course, the person that I notice is Kevin. So I go make a beeline to Kevin, and we talked
I forgot
the
about Ned
entire
and Trent.
night.
Yeah, and we just stood there talking the entire night.
So you found that you guys had a lot in common.
We did.
So then,
Yeah.
I guess it was probably 2 days later. I had the day off, and Kelly.
I had the early
I
shift.
checked the schedule. Kelly had the early shift, so she was there at like 7 a.m.
Yeah, I'm outside washing all the tables,
Right.
making sure everything's ready. And Kevin comes and says,
Do you want to go out after your work? I know you're off at 2.
of course I said yes.
So we went and rode rides.
Oh, you rode rides.
That was the big
That was
day.
it.
So that was
was
pretty,
fun.
pretty for a college student who's only making minimum wage. That was a pretty good date.
Yeah, so that was.
Very affordable date.
Yes.
And so the rest of the summer
we were inseparable.
Oh, great. And then you went back to Bowling Green, and you went back to Pittsburgh.
University of Pittsburgh.
And did you? Phone
Long
calls
time
were
to-
long distance.
Yes.
Oh, 10 cents a minute.
Yeah.
That was.
So you called before the
Yeah,
hour.
we knew the time when
Right.
we could call, and our parents would say, "What did you talk to for an hour?"
What could you possibly talk about for so long?
Yeah, there's no way.
So we're a year ahead or 2 years ahead?
1 year ahead.
1 year ahead.
I'm only 3 months older.
Okay, but you skipped a grade, or
Right.
you were
I
behind.
went to kindergarten at 4.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so great. So then you both finished your respective colleges.
Yes.
And I did a master's degree straight
Okay.
at Duquesne University.
Okay.
I did my master's. Undergrad, I was an economics major.
Okay.
I went to Kelly and I said, "Do you want time or money?" And she said,
Time.
"Time." So then I went back and got a master's in education.
What does that mean?
Do you want time with me,
Okay.
and I make
less money.
less money,
okay.
or do you
Or do you
want a
want-
lot of money and not see me as often?
Okay.
And, well, probably not see you as often.
Right.
And so I said, I want time.
So then I went back and did a master's in education
Okay.
and became a teacher.
Okay. And you did
So
too.
now we're both teachers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you? I got the 2-minute warning, which is a bummer because there's a lot more I wanted to ask you, and I wanted you to. We'll have to meet separately.
Right.
But so did you? I know you became a principal, right?
And I was a school superintendent as well.
Right. And you were in the same school district or the same school?
A variety,
So
both.
no-
But I was a principal, and I was a teacher and a principal.
When
Some
we
of
first
them,
came to Ohio, I was high school assistant principal. She was elementary assistant principal.
and
in
that was in the same
district.
school district.
And that was the case for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then I was going to be the assistant superintendent.
Right.
And I couldn't really supervise my wife.
Right.
And so I became a principal at a different
School
school
district.
district.
So when
yes.
you were in college, and I've got to wind this up, but when you were in college, were you studying to be a teacher?
Yes.
Okay, so you were on the path already. So you
correct.
didn't have to go take more courses.
Correct.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for
Absolutely,
coming on.
sure.
We'll have to talk in the gym.
We're so excited to be here. Thank,
Thank you. I really am glad you were able to come on, so thank you very much. Our next couple is Noemi Epstein and Daryl Borderstrass. Noemi and Daryl are involved in cycling, sailing, classical music, and opera. They play cards and rummy cube with friends and are very active members of the Reformed Temple. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
I'm
you
really
very
glad
much
could be
for
here
inviting
on our
us.
Valentine's Day episode.
We are honored. Thank you.
I always ask 3 questions, and the first question is, where are you from? Daryl, why don't you go first?
I grew up in Oregon. I was born in a small town, Lebanon, in the Willamette Valley. And at the age of 18, I left home and went to Seattle for a job, and basically stayed in Washington State for the next 50 years.
Oh, okay.
And worked in various companies, went to college at the University of Puget Sound in Tacoma,
Right.
and we met in 1983.
We're not
in
there yet.
Seattle.
We're not there
Okay.
yet. We're only on where you're from.
Okay.
Noemi, where are you from?
I was born in Rome, Italy.
Oh,
My parents were Holocaust survivors, so they ran from Croatia to Italy. And my mother was pregnant with me, and she almost had me in Bari in Italy. And she told my father, she's not going to be she's not going to be born in Bari. We're going to Rome. And that's where I was born.
and they were safe in Rome?
Not quite, but safe enough to be able to escape with false papers to Venezuela. And
with
that's
you.
where I grew up,
Okay, with you.
with me and my grandparents who survived and my aunt and uncle who survived. The rest of the family did not.
Okay. Very difficult. But I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
The next question is, how long have you been a couple? And this might be complicated, huh?
43 years.
43 years.
Right, right.
Okay.
Since we met, basically.
And how long have you been in Laguna Woods?
Since 16 years now. We came here in 2010.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get started. How did you meet? And I want to start this off with, I spent a lot of time in Washington State because my son and 3 grandchildren live in Bellingham.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay.
So
cool.
Okay.
I know every which way to get to Bellingham.
Well, we
right.
lived in Seattle.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's it. That's an easy trip.
That is
Bellingham
easy
is a little bit
trip,
more
as long as you don't drive.
Right. How did you meet?
Well, there was a lecture. What happened, I was working at the University of Washington in clinical chemistry, and I wanted to do something different. So I got a degree in Slavic languages and literature as a sideline while I was working. And there was a lecturer who was talking about the fallacies of romantic love. And I very much wanted to hear that lecture, but for some reason, he canceled and he went to a church and he gave the lecture at that church. And I was there and Daryl was there. Now, Daryl is my third and current husband.
Ah,
So just so you know.
okay.
And Noemi's my second and current
Okay,
wife. So-
okay.
but who's keeping score?
Okay.
This is 43 years ago.
So 43 years ago,
Right.
were you single?
Yes,
Oh,
I was
okay.
single for 5 years.
And you were single,
I was in the process of a divorce.
of becoming
so, yeah,
single?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And Daryl asked a very intelligent question, and I was intrigued. He was good looking, he was smart. So I picked him up. I told him, you asked
We went
him.
out for coffee.
So we went out for coffee and started talking, and that was the beginning of a very long relationship.
Okay, so you went out for coffee,
Yes.
and, okay, and this is in Seattle. You went out for coffee, and then what happened after that?
I had a trip planned because we both love to travel. And I had a trip
But you
pla-
didn't know that he loved to travel at that point?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I had a trip planned to
The Bahamas, I think it
to
was.
the, yeah, but what
Club
was it?
Med.
Club Med.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
So my stay at Club Med, rather than
Because I babysat for the dog, for
oh,
Max. The,
okay.
was-
so you,
our dog. So instead of my taking advantage of all the activities and all the nice-looking guys, I was on the phone with this guy who was babysitting in my house. So that was not a very successful trip. But then he said to me on the phone, I said, you know, my job is changed from the south end to the
From
north
Renton
end.
to Everett. I was with Boeing. in
Oh,
Boeing commercials. So,
okay,
so I was moving. And
right. So you were moving north?
Yeah, and so
Yes.
this is perfect because
Yeah.
she lived just
So he
north of-
asked me on the phone, I was at Club Med, and he asked me, you know, I was thinking, is it okay if I just move in? Now, this was after how long?
How long had you known each other?
a couple of months.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
And I said, well, we can give it a try.
So you had been seeing each other from the time the coffee to
Yes,
the... Oh,
we
okay.
did.
Okay.
We saw each other a few times. It was my birthday. He sent me flowers. I think that was the only time he sent.
Hint, hint.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And it just worked.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you moved in,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
all right. And that was the...
That was the beginning of the relationship. And then the interesting thing was,
Before it was just dating occasionally? And,
Yeah.
and babysitting the dog?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess the dog liked you.
but the
guess so.
interesting part was that in these 40 years, 43 years, Daryl wasn't Jewish.
Right.
And he would go with me to all the events that I would go to, Rosh Hashanah, Yom
Yeah,
Kippur, all the
friends-
Jewish.
friends of the
Was he a
And
member?
all my friends
Did you
that
make him
were-
a member of the temple?
No,
Oh, he-
I never was a member of any
Seattle.
temple in
Oh.
Seattle or before in Venezuela.
Okay.
I went to a Jewish school though,
Okay,
but that was Orthodox, and
Right.
so that wasn't of that much interest
Right.
in me. And he would go to all these events with me. So one day he said to me, you know, he met Rabbi Joe,
here.
through the yacht club.
So were you
through
a
sailing.
member? Were you a member here?
not before.
Oh, you met him sailing.
Yes.
Yes,
that's
because
how
he's
we
in the
got
sailing in the yacht
involved.
club.
We got more involved in
Right.
the temple, and I said,
Right.
you know, it makes sense for me to convert, and so
And he did.
we did for the last year, or I did for the last
Well,
year.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, for sure.
So once Daryl converted, that was when you had a change of heart about marriage?
That's when we decided to have a Jewish wedding.
See, we were married in Seattle
Oh, you were married?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
we were
40
married
years ago.
Oh, so you've been married for 43 years?
Yes.
41 years.
41 years. Oh.
In
That's
fact,
why
we
you
sent
said you
you a-
got married twice.
Yeah.
I think Daryl sent you a picture
Yes.
of our first
Yes,
marriage.
which was confusing for me.
I
Okay.
bet.
So now we know when to put it in the show.
In context.
Okay, so you
So,
were
yeah.
married 41 years ago,
Right.
just a civil ceremony.
Right.
It was a
Right.
civil ceremony,
Right.
but my parents came and his parents came from Oregon, and we had a party with classical guitarists, and it was very nice. So it was an event.
Right.
And so we decided to have renewal of vows, and then we decided, well, we didn't have a Jewish wedding, so why don't we just have a Jewish wedding to commemorate the 40 years also in my conversion. So that's
why we did it here
Okay. So how long ago was the Jewish wedding?
2 months ago.
2 months ago. So I have newlyweds. Who knew? Well, Mazel Tov again.
Thank you.
Congratulations. How wonderful. And that must have been a lot of fun.
It was
we had a
great
ball.
fun. It was great fun.
we had a band and we had
Yeah.
a dance instructor.
Should I tell the story about my grandfather?
Yes.
In 1938, my grandfather, who was pretty smart, had this whiff that something was happening.
In Zagreb.
In Zagreb. That's where he lived.
What country? I'm sorry.
In
Yugos-
former Yugoslavia.
former-
Now Croatia.
Oh, Croatia.
Now Croatia. He got the whiff that things are getting bad, and he purchased a life insurance from Generali, which is still exists in Italy.
Right.
It's an Italian firm, and he bought the insurance. And then in 1942, he realized that they needed to figure out a way to get out.
Yeah.
So he cashed portion of that insurance, and I don't know how he paid for it up front or whatever, I don't know. Now, that's how my family, my immediate family, was able to escape.
Right.
It turned out that in 1924, I got a letter from
2024.
2024. I get a letter from an attorney in Israel indicated that I could obtain some funds from my grandfather's insurance policy. And I thought it was a scam
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure. I
yeah.
He
mean,
died
those
in
things.
1963 in
Right.
Venezuela.
Right.
so-
Right. And it turned out that there was a law from the Italian government for people who had money in this insurance plan that they would get money back.
They had to find the beneficiary. They couldn't just
Yeah, yeah.
take
And
it
the
into
beneficiary had to be the only surviving member,
right,
and I am an only child, only niece, only granddaughter. I don't have other immediate family.
Right.
So I proved that it was me,
Right.
and I got the money, and that's how we financed the wedding.
I'm sure your grandfather would be very happy. So he was
Very
also able to leave to go to Venezuela.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an amazing separate
Yes.
story.
We'll have to.
also.
You'll have to
Yeah,
come
he
back.
ended up in a camp, in an Italian camp with my grandmother. It was a transitional camp in Italy with his dog.
Oh.
His dog survived the camp. He would have him hidden under the bed during the day.
Yeah.
And at night, he would take him out and do his business and then hid him again in a potato sack under the bed. And the dog was quiet the whole time. He survived the camp, went to Italy, and got hit by a car.
The dog. Oh.
Yeah, not my grandfather.
Oh, your grandfather.
No, my dog, the dog.
The dog.
But still
Yes.
survives a camp.
Yes,
The dog survives a camp and gets hit by a car in Rome.
Right.
Not
So
my
your
father.
grandfather was able to get out of the camp.
Yes, because that's when it was in Italy when the war ended.
Oh. So they were in the camp during the.
At the end of the
At
war.
the end of the war.
So they
And
So they weren't shipped
They
out
weren't
to
transferred.
Germany.
Right.
They
That's
weren't
right.
transferred.
camp was.
So your parents were not sent to a camp.
They were not in a camp. They were running.
They
My
were
parents.
hiding in
They were
Bari.
hiding all over.
Okay. I just got the sign that I have to end this. I'm so sorry because
No,
this
that's
is
fine.
This was great. Anyway, thank you so much for
Oh,
coming
you're very
on. This was
welcome.
wonderful.
Thank you.
And happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you very much to you too.
If you'd like to come on to the show, email us at lwvcouples@gmail.com. Include your name, phone number, and email address. and brief description of your story.